So if you could summarize everything that you've gone over in 5 minutes, could you give somebody just a 5-minute summary what you just talked about, what your recommendations are, criticisms, whatever?
Sure. I have more criticism than praise. I think the president, to his credit, has done a phenomenal job with what he's been given, which is a lot of bad information. So he's been able to see through it quicker. Other people would perseverate, like our Governor Abbott. But President Trump has been able to make actual changes based on bad data and recognize it, to his credit. So one of the things I'd say is that the things that are being implemented, the restrictions, were never necessary. Even if you're willing to give them forgiveness and say, well, they didn't know, they still made bad decisions. And they're aware now. And they're not correcting their mistakes. They're not acknowledging it. So the stuff they're doing is harmful. It's not beneficial. Someone said they were wearing a mask for me. I'm like, you're not wearing a mask for me. Don't kid yourself. So we're getting away from this has nothing to do with science. This has nothing to do with medicine. This is for political or other reasons. We need to, if I can make a plea, it's to these B people, you B people who say, well, if we use common sense, if we do, if we're cautious, if we have social distancing. I don't want to hear the restriction. No restrictions, none of them are necessary. They're all harmful. We need to get to, if they're going to do this plan with 3 phases, how do we get to phase 3? Get immunity. How do you get immunity? Vaccine. There is no vaccine. How do you get to immunity? Get the disease.
And recover from it.
And recover from it. And there's up to a 96% chance you won't even know you had it.
Yeah.
You probably already had it.
Yeah.
You have a cat at home. The cat goes and visits the other cat's neighbor's cat. He brings it into the house. The dog carries it. They have the dog groomer is allowed to work, and the hairdresser is not at Salon a la Mode. I was giving a presentation before. He came out yelling and screaming, "How dare you? You're going to kill people." I'm like, your dogs and cats are carrying this too.
Yeah.
And he's a C person. So I think that
I think that's his culture though too.
His culture? Well, the thing is, there was a time in this country, I understood when people said that if you were to cover your head and face and mask and you were female and you had a long gown, that somehow that was restrictive and sexist and this, and now we're all jumping to do it. How did that change? And I'll tell you another thing. These C people who are saying that you have to wear a mask right now, these are the same people who, once they put on all those cameras and the AI, those are the same people that are going to be saying you can't wear a mask for public safety.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the rules are, they will just follow the rules.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, I don't want to be told what to do now, and I don't want to be told what to do then.
And furthermore, they're going to show themselves to be really good citizens by calling the authorities on you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They'll be all over that. I mean, the thing is that there is a percentage of the population, about 10 to 14%, that will do that. And that's a problem because, why? Why are you doing that? Why? I just don't understand the logic of that.
So I will tell you what, from my perspective, I thought that this whole thing, I looked at it as being a lot of media hysteria and nonsense. But I thought that if we could get people to say, you know what, let the government play its hand out and say, we're sick of you. It's now time to say, you don't govern our lives.
Right.
And this is when...
And here's the thing. People like you and me are saying that. Well, at the same time, their side is saying, oh, we did phase 1, and if people like you and me don't cooperate,
yeah, I know,
then we're going to take it to phase 2, and then move you back to phase 1, then take it to phase 2 and phase 3, and move you back to phase 2. And then it's going to be winter time, and then they're going to lock us down again.
Yeah.
And the B people are still going to be saying, hopefully more of these B people move over. So don't be a B person, be an A person.
Yeah.
Don't be a C person, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And if you are a C person, stay at home. You don't have to call in your neighbor.
I know. It was interesting. How dare Shelley opens up her shop and puts us at risk? And I said, are you going?
Are you going there? It's your choice.
You're allowed to stay home. Nobody said we're going to force you to go out there and
under liberty, you have the right to go to hell if that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I as a physician, I think, cigarettes, cancer sticks are stupid. And I don't know why anyone, without a death wish would want to do it.
Yeah.
But I understand some people have a death wish.
Yeah.
And I understand that it's addictive. So I do not want to restrict their right to harm themselves. I mean, one of my idols when I was growing up was Evel Knievel. I finally got to meet him in person just before he died. I got a nice signed jacket from when I used to jump when I was like in 4th grade, and some pictures with him. And honestly, you're going to tell Evel Knievel this is risky? There was a guy who opened up his drag racing strip that his father had started. He said, I'm going to open it. He goes, I don't care. And he said, I'm not going to let what my father started go under. And I'm thinking, okay, the people who are concerned, these sea people that are concerned about the risk of COVID, are they seriously going to restrict this guy who promotes drag racing?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a little bit different risk.
Yeah.
So people cannot, the problem is that with this Common Course nonsense, people can't even do math anymore.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse. So, but I have a calculator and I know how to use it.
Yeah.
And I have a constitution and I know how to read it.
Right, yeah. And, I still think that, and maybe I mentioned it to you, but does Clay Jenkins owe the people of Dallas an apology for being so far off in his projections?
Horrible. Criminal.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I think that if Shelley Luther ran against him right now, if they don't recall him, they shouldn't just recall him.
Right.
But I think she could beat him. All of these people need to go on record as being stupid and doing harmful things to their citizens. Right. They need to declare themselves and say, I was behind this. Right. I was for it. Yeah. I was for shutting down. I was for restrictions. I was for knowingly causing harm to the citizens.
Right.
That's why I left New York City.
Yeah.
They had taxes, tolls, and traffic. I didn't want any of that. I came to Texas. I thought you guys like freedom here.
Yeah. Well... Yeah, I guess too many people have come from other places and have brought their culture.
It's not my fault.
I know.
I came from New York City. Don't blame me.
I know. Exactly.
I escaped from New York.
Yeah, I got you.
So I mean, and I've seen it all, and I've seen the corruption in New York, and I grew up with all of that.
So I used to say for the people coming from California, we have to have something.
No, the Californians, we got to stop. I draw the line there.
Yeah, or maybe some people from Illinois, but I don't know.
No, the crazy Californians, they ruin their economy, and now they want to. I mean, some of the stuff they come up with is just mind-boggling.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I want to thank you once again for your entire time. And this is very fascinating.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, when you were talking about some things, I was just completely.
Well, most of the stuff is false. I mean, the fake news, you were mentioning them, they are in lockstep with each other.
Yeah.
They all go and, you could go and see, they all report the same thing.
Well,
even the comedians.
I
You go
know.
to Channel 5, 8, and 11, and the comedians on Late Talk are saying the same 3 jokes.
Yeah.
Trump, COVID.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, somebody was talking the other day about how horrible this was and that was, and they cited the New York Times. And I said, do you realize?
New York Times.
I know. I said, no, look.
Here's the thing. I have relatives in New York who actually believe the New York Times. I can't talk to them anymore.
So I'll tell you. I mean, I subscribe to the New York Times, the Washington Times, Epoch Times.
Washington Post?
No, Washington Times.
Okay.
It's the conservative one.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a few. I've got maybe 5 or 6 subscriptions.
The story behind the Washington Post is that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post because he hates Trump, just so that he can criticize him every day.
I didn't know that, but anyway.
Yeah, so the media is in lockstep already.
Yeah, well, Levin calls the Washington Post the Washington Compost.
The media, we call the Star Telegram the Startlegram.
Yeah.
So they are in lockstep. It is propaganda, and the comedians even are in lockstep with this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There was something else that was jogging my memory about the media. That they're just so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. They're so bad that, how bad are they? They're so bad, you only need to watch them for 2 things. One, to be distracted, and the other one is to find out what the news is not.
Yeah, exactly.
To find their propaganda.
So here's the funny thing.
And actually, I do look at it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I will tell her, she'll like, okay, be quiet already. Because there'll be a story, and I'm like, okay, here's what the real story is.
I know.
Here's the propaganda.
Yeah.
And you would think like that would happen a couple of times. It's every story.
I know. It used to be like, when Clinton was in office, the only time I knew the truth was when he actually actually denied something happened, and then I knew the opposite was true.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that you have to look at things like that to say that.
I grew up at the time where they said Russian propaganda. I had the Big Red Scare and the Cold War.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we grew up with that.
Yeah.
How do we not? And my question to the teacher was, well, in Russia, do they know it's propaganda? And they said, well, no, because that's all they get. And I said, don't they get information from outside? Doesn't anybody tell them? Doesn't it spread? And they're like, no. And I'm like, how is that possible? And I was saying that as a kid, and now I see how it's possible. It's happening here.
The funny thing was, after the wall came down, I used to listen to Radio Moscow when I was down in Goodfellow and in the military. And you know what? I actually liked them for their honesty, because they were criticizing themselves, and I thought I got more truth out of Radio Moscow than I got out of CNN.
It's funny that people, there's The Onion, and there's another funny one with Babylon B.
Yeah.
And Babylon B, the story was closer to the truth than the media that day.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's actually gotten ridiculous. George Carlin and some people warned us about this.
Yeah.
But it's all coming true. And seriously, people, you need to listen to people that don't have a vested interest. You have to look for what is their conflict. I have a conflict. I want freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to move because my taxes are going to go too high, because the businesses aren't going to be paying taxes, so that's going to tank. And then oil is going to zero because we're in economic warfare. They haven't declared it, but we have it. There's not going to be. We wasted more money on the military than all the other countries combined. We're not going to have a battle with nuclear weapons. We're not going to have it even with bullets. It's going to be cyber attacks, and it's going to be starving the population, and it's going to be that China owns half the farms in Missouri already.
Yeah.
And across the country, and the meat packing. And right now, we're looking at food shortages are ahead. We're looking at that piglets are getting killed because the farmers are like, what am I supposed to do with the pigs I got? I can't get them to market.
Yeah.
So I can only hold so many pigs. I can just kill all the piglets.
Yeah.
What do you think happens when those piglets are supposed to be pigs? We're not going to have it. Right now, the meat is just, it's cheap. But that's not going to be for long. Wheat is down. Milk is down. They're dumping that. Vegetables are being turned over in the ground. And there's going to be a problem with oil. When oil is shut off in this country, you can't just turn it back on. And then the price thing, goes up. It's not going to be $1 a gallon for long.
Yeah.
It's not going to be minus $37.60 for oil futures because they have nowhere to put it.
Yeah, I know.
And they're at capacity, and there's 24 VLCCs, very large crude cruisers, heading from Saudi Arabia to New Orleans to fill up our, whatever they have.
Right.
Ted Cruz said, turn those ships around because where are we going to put that oil? If you have a swimming pool, you can fill it with oil, I guess, but what are we going to do with this stuff?
Yeah.
So oil taxes, how much is oil taxes as a percentage of state taxes for Texas?
Yeah, that's
big chunk.
Yeah.
That's going to zero.
Yeah.
Sales tax, what's that going? Guaranteed minimum 20% decrease. So what's going to happen? What's the school going to do? They're going to ask for more money. Last year they got spoiled with the rainy day fund. Oh, wasn't that opportune to delete the state's rainy day fund last year?
Yeah.
Could have used it now. But instead, what's going to happen? They're going to say we need to raise property taxes. That's their go-to answer.
And it's always the go-to answer.
And then we're going to see foreclosures and bankruptcies. Wonderful. Welcome to what happened after the Great Depression. We got hit with all these things, like bad things come in threes. My Italian grandmothers used to say. But the thing is that after the Great Depression, then they had the Dust Bowl, and it went for very little rain for years.
Yeah.
That's why it took till 1939 to start coming out of it.
Yeah.
This could have hurt a long time.
Yeah.
If we don't turn this around, we could have a V return, or we could drag this out for years.
Yeah.
It could go 2 years. It could go 10 years.
Yeah.
It could collapse the country.
Yeah.
The U.S. dollar doesn't have to be the default currency.
No.
Sterling wasn't. World War II, Britain got hit hard. The U.S. dollar stepped in.
Yeah.
And there were 5 currencies before that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much. I think we're pretty well done here, and I appreciate that. But it was great to talk with you. Great to meet you.
Love to do it again with Justin Fairless.
Yeah, Justin Fairless, where are you? Get out here.
Stop hiding.
Yeah.
Quit ducking me.
Or else
Quit ducking
we'll go
me,
to your
Joe.
place. Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's local. He's right in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drive to you.
You can run, you can hide, but not forever. So anyway.
Yeah, you got to stop spouting that nonsense.
Anyway, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.